Hi, and welcome to Hooked on Guitar, show that teaches you how to play guitar at home by playing along with me. I'm Dan Rao from Gunner Guitar Studies in Kitchener, and this is episode number 11. In this show, we are going to learn a few alternate tunings, including, drop D tuning here. So we get the right strings playing here. Used in songs such as Harvest Moon by Neil Young. And we are going to learn how to get into some open tunings such as open G and open E. I'm going to switch guitars here for a second. This particular guitar is tuned to open E, and the guitar is tuned like a chord, and it's used for songs such as She Talks to Angels by the Black Crowes, which would be able to play something like this. That is open tunings. Now, you may want to keep a pen or a pencil handy. At the end of tonight's show, an address will be shown where you may write in and receive a transcript in lesson form of the show that will help with any questions you may have and be a good reference for future practicing. Now, let's begin as always by tuning. I'm going to switch back to my regularly tuned guitar, or should I say soon to be regularly tuned guitar. We'll tune so what you play at home sounds like what I'm playing here. Low E or 6th string. And the A or 5th string. The D or 4th string. The G or 3rd string. The B or 2nd string. And the E or 1st string. Okay, in drop D tuning, what we're going to do is we're going to tune the low 6th or E string down a whole tone so that it sounds like the D string, or the note D, and it sounds something like that. And as I mentioned before, it is played with lots of D chords. And I'm going to show you two ways to get into drop D tuning. Now, the first method I'm going to show you is what I just did there, where you actually play the 4th string open, which is the note D, and the 6th string open, and you play them together, and then you lower the 6th string until both notes sound relatively the same. They're actually an octave apart, but notice I made the waves go away, or the beats. Now, when I'm going into drop D tuning, what I'm going to do is take the 6th string a little bit lower than it needs to be and come back up to it. It'll stay in tune a little better that way. Listen closely once more, and it's a little bit lower. You can hear the waves. And as I slowly bring it into tune, the waves go away. And I'm going to demonstrate that once more, and then I'll have you try that at home. Again, play the 6th and 4th together. And adjust them until the waves go away. Then you're in dropped D tuning. If you'd like to try that at home, I'll give you a second. And make sure you get the waves to go away, and make sure that you tune the 6th string slightly lower than what you would like it to be, and then tune up so that the notes sound the same. And to get back into standard tuning, what you're going to do is you're going to play the 6th string, 5th fret, and tune the 6th string so that it sounds the same as the open 5th string. For instance, something like this. And bring the 6th string back up a whole tone. So it sounds like that, no waves. And you may try your harmonics that we learned in episode number 6 for tuning. And we're back in standard tune. If you'd like to try that at home, I'll give you a second. Just take your time, make sure that the waves are actually gone. Sounds just like that. All right. And the second method I'm going to show you for getting into drop D tuning is a variation of what we just did. We're going to play the 6th string, 7th fret, and the open 5th string, A, and we're going to lower the 6th string again until those two notes sound the same. Get rid of the waves. Again, I'm going to go a little lower than I need to, and tune upwards. Again, we're in now drop D tuning. I'll give you a second at home to try that. So that's 6th string, 7th fret, and tune to the open 5th string. Again, so you have no waves. And now that we're back into drop D tuning again, I'm going to spend a little time showing you how to play in drop D tuning. Now, when you're in drop D tuning, you are usually going to be in the key of D major, all right, which is going to give you D chords, G chords, and A chords as your principal chords. And we talked a little bit about those chords in episode number 5. Those go together. Now, basically what we're going to have to do is, because we've changed the tuning of one of the strings, some of the chords that we play, we're going to have to change the fingering also. Now, this isn't going to affect chords like A or D minor, but it is going to affect any of the chords that use the 6th string, such as any E chords you may play or any G chords. And as well as when you're playing any of the D chords, you're not going to really change any of your left-hand fingering, but you are going to play all 6 strings. For instance, for playing D major, you just put the normal fingering down, but play all 6 strings. That gives you a nice full sound. If you play D minor, the same thing. Put your D minor chord down and play all 6 strings. And the D 7th chord. If you'd like to try this at home, play your D 7th chord and strum all 6 strings. And drop D tuning is really does give you a nice full sound. Now, when we're playing any of the chords that include all 6 strings, such as the E chords, we have to compensate for being in drop D tuning by playing everything 2 frets higher than you normally would. For instance, if you're playing an E major chord, you have to play the 2nd fret on the 6th string, as well as the notes that you would normally play for the E chord. Now, to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to move our 2nd finger up to the 2nd fret of the 6th string, and then put your 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and your 5th string, sorry, and your 4th finger goes on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and your 1st finger stays on the 1st fret of the 3rd string, and you strum all 6. That is how you play E major when you are in dropped D tuning. To turn this into an E 7th chord, all we're going to do is lift your 4th finger off of the 4th string. Make sure all 6 strings sound. If you'd like to try this at home, that is an E 7th chord. Put your 4th finger back down and you have E major. And take your 4th finger off and it is now an E 7th chord. Now we play an E minor chord. What you're going to do is put your 4th finger back on to the 4th string 2nd fret and take your 1st finger off. Play all 6 strings and that is now an E minor chord. Now I have an alternate way that I usually play this chord. What I'm going to do is lay my 1st finger across the 2nd fret of the 6th and 5th strings, much like we did for power chords in episode number 9, and then take your 2nd finger and lay it on the 4th string 2nd fret. And you have to kind of curve your 1st finger backwards a bit so that your 1st finger clears the rest of the strings. And that is the preferred way to play an E minor chord in dropped D tuning, if you'd like to try that at home. Now another popular chord that is a substitute for the E minor is the E minor 7th. Now to play that chord, you just hold the E minor down and add your 4th finger to the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, the note D. And that is an E minor 7th chord. Again, that's a very nice sounding chord that can be used as a substitute for the E minor. Now, as mentioned earlier, when you're playing in the key of D, the G chord is one of the principal chords, so it is going to be used in quite a few places. So to play the G chord, what we have to do is put your 1st finger on the 1st string 3rd fret, the note G, and then you have to stretch your 3rd finger all the way over to the 5th fret, of string 6. And you play all 6 strings. Now again, I'm doing a little bit of left-hand muting where I'm muting out the 5th string. You notice that it is not sounding with the side of my 3rd finger. I'd like to try that at home. Just pick each note separately just to make sure it sounds nice and clean like that and you don't hear the 5th string. That is a G major chord. And another chord that you may come across in the key of D is G minor. Now, to play G minor, keep your 3rd finger where it is and lift your 1st finger up and bar it across strings 1, 2, and 3 at the 3rd fret. Make sure those are all sounding and use the side of finger 1. It might make that a little easier to play. That is a G minor chord if you'd like to try that at home. G minor. Now in the transcripts, I've got a little chord progression put together in the key of D, and it uses a D major, a D 7th chord, the G chord, the G minor chord, and the A chord, and it sounds something like this. 3, 4. Let's try that slowly at home. It starts out with a D major chord, strumming all 6 strings. Strum down, up, and go to a D 7th chord. Again, strum all 6 strings. Down, 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 up. We're going to go to that G chord we just learned. And G minor, so flatten out that 1st finger. back to D, all 6 strings, to A major chord, and we're only going to play 5 strings here, and back to D and all 6 strings. And let's repeat that again, starting with D, down, 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 and strum down, up, D7. Again, we're strumming all 6 strings, remember, to a G chord, G minor, to D, to A, and I'm going to play that a little faster, and it sounds something like this. And that is drop D tuning, and a few of the chords that are played along with it. And that gives it a nice full sound. I'd like to move on and talk a little bit about open tunings. Now, open tunings are a style of playing music and tuning your guitar in which all of the notes or all of the strings are tuned to a particular chord. Okay? Now, open tunings lend themselves well to slide guitar playing and horizontal bar type playing. And the most popular open tunings are open G and open E. And open D is kind of a relative tuning with open E. So we're just going to learn open G and open E today. Now, to play open G, I'm just going to get back into standard tuning first. What we're going to do is lower the 1st, 5th, and 6th strings one whole tone. And we're going to do this in 3 steps. The first step being we're going to tune the 1st string to the 2nd string 3rd fret, the note D. So I'm going to play 2nd string 3rd fret and the open 1st string, and then lower the 1st string until the waves go away. And both of those notes sound the same. Now I'm going to go just a little bit lower, as I have done before, to ensure that it stays in tune a little better. That's the first step. The second step is I'm going to tune string number 5 to the open 3rd string. This is much like what we did when we went into open D. So you're going to play the open 3rd string and the 5th string together and lower the 5th string. Again, I went a little bit lower and the waves have went away. And step number 3 is lowering the 6th string so that it sounds the same as the open 4th. Now, this is exactly what we did for drop D tuning. All right, now once I'm in open G tuning, that is the G chord. You just play your chords by... That's what I meant when I said horizontal bar type playing, so you can do stuff like... sound. So I'm going to return to standard tuning, and then I'll take you through those steps once more so you may tune to open G at home yourself. Just utilizing the harmonics that we learned in show number 6. Okay, now step number 1 for getting into open G tuning is tuning the 1st string to the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. So like this, and drop the 1st string. And until the waves go away. If you'd like to try that at home, I'll give you a minute. Make sure that you turn the first string just slightly lower than that third fret of the second string, and then tune up to it again so that it does stay in tune a little better. And the second step, we're going to tune the fifth string to the open third string. I'll play those two together, the fifth and third strings, and drop the fifth string so they sound the same. I went a little bit lower again, and brought it up until the waves go away. And try that at home. It might help out to play the third string first. It gives you your ear a chance to hear the note that you're going for, and then play the fifth string. And the third step, we're going to tune the sixth string to the open fourth string. And I will play the fourth string first, and the sixth. Again, I went a little lower than I would for tuning and brought the note back up so that they sound the same, just the exact same as open D tuning. I'll give you a second to do that. And now you should be in open G tuning. If you'd like to strum your open strings, they should all blend nicely like that. And to get back into standard tuning, we'll go back there quickly, and then we'll go into open E tuning. The first step is to tune the first string to the fifth fret of the second string, almost the way you would if you were just tuning normally. So, fifth fret of the second string to the open first. The waves to go away, use some harmonics. That is the first step. If you'd like to try that at home now, I'll give you a minute. Again, try to use your harmonics. They're a very accurate way of tuning. And the second step, we are going to tune the fifth string, fifth fret, to the open fourth string. So you play those two together and then adjust the fifth string. Until the waves go away. Again, I'm going to use harmonics. And I'll give you a minute to try that at home. It sounds like when it's in tune with harmonics. And the last step is tuning the sixth string, fifth fret, to the open fifth string. This is much the same. It is the same way, actually, what we did for retuning the dropped D string. And again, use the harmonics. And that is how you get in and out of open G tuning. Now, as mentioned before, the other popular tuning is open E tuning. Now, in open E tuning, what we're going to do is we're going to raise the third string a semitone and raise the fourth and fifth strings a whole tone each. And to accomplish this, step number one, what we're going to do is tune the third string open to the fourth string sixth fret. So it goes something like this. And I'm just going to raise that third string one semitone. Until the waves go away. And the second step will be to tune the fifth string, seventh fret, to the open fourth string. Well, I'm sorry, I got that backwards. We're going to tune the open fourth string to the 5th string 7th fret. Basically the same thing as what I said, but we're going to adjust the 4th string. Go nice and slow, you don't want to turn it too far. Nice and slow, and until the waves go away. And step number 3, we're going to tune the open 5th string to the 6th string 7th fret. So play those two together and then adjust the 5th string up a whole tone until the waves go away. That is your 3rd step. And we're now in open E tuning. Now, being we adjusted all 3 strings upwards, that tightened all 3 strings, and it put a little bit more strain on your neck. So sometimes you may have to do a minor adjustment once you've tuned to open E. Just play through all of the strings at once. You might have to just do the odd adjustment just to make all the notes blend, because when the 3 strings were tightened, it kind of pulled your neck forward a bit, and that lowered the strings that you didn't tune. Get a nice even blend like that. That is open E tuning. Now, to get back into standard tuning, all you do is follow the normal tuning sequence from string number 6. For instance, I would just go fret to fret. Just normal tuning. I'm going to use harmonics just to hurry this along a little bit. Then I will tune the 4th string to the 5th. And tune the 3rd string to the 4th. Now remember that we're tuning all of these strings down now because we had tuned them up to get into open E. Good idea to go all the way across all 6. All right, that's it for this episode. Just to recap what we did, we learned how to get into drop D tuning and back out again, and how to play a few chords in that tuning, and how to tune to open G and open E. Please join me next episode when we're going to learn how to play in open tunings, including playing different chords and using the whole neck, and a little bit of slide playing.